All right, it's that time of the week again. It is Wednesday, 4:30, and we got a special guest today. We got Jordan from Construction Notebook. Jordan, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here, Brian. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so today's episode is really cool because we're doing a lot to get our members and get the industry pushing them towards expanding their small businesses or their fence companies and gate companies and even other trades to reach out, reach for the stars, go for bidding on hopefully some of the larger jobs and not just in the government municipalities but the private sector as well. So having you guys on is really cool because you live in that world. You live and sleep the projects
Absolutely.
everybody dreams of getting, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Phil.
Well, I've been with the Notebook for 16 years now. And
Mhm.
when I started with them was back in 2009. And I started as a document scanner. And I was the guy when the blueprints came in. We had a guy that drove all over town going to sign out projects from the different places, distributing the blueprints. Now we know it's all digital, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody uses, there's no paper. But back then, the blueprints came in, and you had a document scanner sitting there full time, scanning them all in, digitizing them so people could look at them online. And I mean, 1999 was when Construction Notebook became one of the first online plan rooms here in Las Vegas.
yeah,
We've been doing this since 1953. So moving on to the digital age was kind of a big thing. Running those big wide format scanners and putting them all in for everybody, and then working up from there, just kind of moving on to dealing with some of the website stuff and trying to streamline that and make it better for the subscribers and building a new website, and kind of worked my way up from there, doing some IT, and then from there became the managing editor of the company 16 years later.
yeah, yeah. And for everybody listening, I've been in Vegas for 20, 30 years. It just seems like forever now. But you guys have been on the scene, and even through the years, multiple times. When I want to try to bid more jobs, I'll join you guys. I'm with you guys for a little while and stuff like that. And then it's just been a huge resource. And even the actual magazine and stuff that you guys put out is like a news project leader thing that you put out. That's kind of cool. So let's tell everybody though real quick about why you're here and about Construction Notebook. What is Construction Notebook itself?
Well, Construction Notebook, as you touched on there briefly, we are an online plan room, and we publish a weekly digital newspaper now,
Mhm.
as of 2025, and we source so much project information for people to try to take advantage of in general bids or sub bid projects. General bids coming in from architects or engineers, seeking a general contractor trying to get all trades of their work bid, or for the smaller companies, the sub bids coming in with a project manager or a general already looking for specific trades. And with the
Yeah,
Notebook Plan Room, you can come in and browse our project list, and we have project searching features as well with keywords and things like that, where you can come in and just type fencing. And we're going to show you all the projects we have in our database related to fencing that are out for bid right now, and even post bid project information where you can look at stuff that's already bid and things like that. And if we have bid results for them, publishing the apparent lows of the project, you can kind of see what the bids were, where the competition was. We send you daily bulletins as well with all kinds of information to keep you on track of your projects every day.
yeah. And I think what's unique about you guys too is it's not just government and local and state jobs. It's private as well, right?
100%. We get our hands on anything we can get on. So we're going through the public municipalities, and we're going through all those systems trying to get all those jobs, and we're providing those. But as well as the private projects as well, come from being around locally since 1953, building relationships with companies where they can reach out to us. They know who Construction Notebook is, and they know we're going to take care of their project for them and try to secure them some bids. And so they're comfortable posting those with us and using our subscriber base to try to secure some more bids on their projects. It's more exposure for them.
So who was Construction Notebook built for? Like when this thing started, what was we all have ideas of why we're going to start something and maybe solve a problem. What was
Absolutely.
the purpose of Construction Notebook back in the 50s? I guess you said.
And 1953 is when Construction Notebook
Yeah,
started. Yep, and it's an interesting backstory too, because it started down on Polaris Avenue as a pie shop. And what they did was on the bulletin board, people would post their construction projects. And that started letting people network with each other in finding projects that they needed worked on, done on, and people getting the right work done. And it just evolved from there, where they started compiling it in a newspaper format, magazine newspaper format, which we
Yep.
still do today in 2025, just digitally. It started on as notes on a cork board, into a little pamphlet that you would flip through, into a spiral notebook, and it's just progressed from there, and we're still doing it to this day. And one of the few plan rooms that still actually publish a compiled copy of information, whether it's weekly or it's monthly.
So can you still, I mean, really, I mean, what I really want to ask, can you still get a piece of pie when you're in there looking at it, or is it,
Unfortunately, you cannot.
right,
Something I've personally been working on, trying to get that back. Maybe a pie and a sandwich or something like that.
right,
You know,
there's still that cork
but
board back there. All right.
right.
'Cause
I believe it is still around. I believe it is still around, the original one, back in a storage somewhere.
I remember going back in the 90s, almost early 2000s. I mean, you'd actually go to the plan rooms and you'd sift through the plans, and you guys would
Yes.
have all the plans and stuff, and you could go into one of the plan rooms and sit on one of the plan on one of the desks, and you'd sit there and flip through the plans and take your measurements and do your takeoffs and stuff right there. If you couldn't afford to have all of them obviously printed yourself, right? So
100%.
it came a
Back
long
then, you would
ways.
you would have to have it printed yourself on a per page copy price, or you would have to check out the set overnight,
Yep.
and it would be due back at a certain time because it had to be available for other customers. And there was a time, like you said about the plan room, there'd be a
Yep.
line of people
Yeah.
waiting to come in to use those blueprints and sit down, and we provided the little takeoff pens, and things like
Yep.
that you
I
could use to
remember.
try to get your bid. We've had, you're talking about the smaller contractor. We've
Yep.
had people start their entire businesses in our plan room,
Yeah.
and use our plan room every day as a base of operations, and we watch them grow until they
Yep.
eventually get their own office.
Isn't that awesome?
So it's a very cool thing to see when you watch these guys come in. They've got nowhere to go, so they're just in the plan room, they're doing their bids,
Yeah.
they're doing their takeoffs, and they're drinking their coffee, and then they grow, and they finally have their own base of operations. And it's like, that was really cool to watch, and how we help them do that, using us as a resource, something they can lean on to have all the information for them when they need it.
Yeah. So if they're bidding, say somebody had they're having a home built or something, or not just, because these aren't just commercial buildings. When we think of plans, we think of a lot of times the commercial
100%.
buildings and stuff. So if a builder's getting wants to get a home built, and he's got the plans for it, and he needs subs and everybody to bid on it, will he give you like a set of those plans, and you'll upload those into your system, and then people take a look at the projects like that? Or
Absolutely. He can send us over the plans digitally with a list of the trades he needs and all the work he needs done, all the specifications we need. We have a form you could fill out, so it fills in all the information we need to give to the people. And we'll upload your files, and everybody can kind of come in and see if that project is something that they're interested in. You go in and you take a look. We provide the information, but we can't feed it to you. You've got to go in and actually look at these projects and drill into them, use our keyword searching features, our project tracking tools. They integrate into various apps and calendars. We have addenda tracking notifications as well. If you're tracking a project with our project tracking tools, there's any change made to the project at all, you're going to be notified what the specific change was, and it's going to keep you, on top of your project and well informed. Same thing with the daily bulletins, the emails that we send out every day at noon. They give you a 3-day bid and pre-bid notice calendar, showing you the projects that are bidding in the next 3 business days as well, what projects have pre-bid or site visits, just all the information you need to make sure you're not missing out on anything.
Yeah. How does a small business, say a fence company or a gate company, or somebody that's kind of what you said, like those guys that used to come and drink their coffee and sit in your office, how does that guy utilize this? How does he find out about new jobs? What's the procedure for somebody to reach out and say, I want to start bidding. I want to start bidding these jobs, but I don't know how. What would be the steps?
Well, they can come into us at constructionnotebook.com, and we have an opportunity for a free trial there. We can get them on a free trial. I'll do a little demo with you, show you, I'll dive into what, as you mentioned earlier, feeling a need. I'll dive into what your needs are, what your company specifies in, and kind of show you how to start extracting that data out of the notebook. making sure you're well informed of how to use the service so you can go in, using your daily bulletin emails and tracking the new projects posted, or going in every day or every couple days and using our keyword search features for your trade. It should keep you well informed to be able to come in and see what projects are up your alley within your bid limit, and things like that. And there's surely work in there if people are willing to go in and do the legwork. We are a subscription based service, so you can come in on a silver subscription at $750 for the year. We'll give you all the project information you need, but if you actually need the blueprints and specifications, that will take you up to a gold membership at $1,250 a year. But it's fair to say at $1,250 a year, if you get one project opportunity with the notebook, it's going to well overpay for itself for the year.
Yeah. And so you guys start tracking the jobs the moment somebody submits a set of plans to you. You start tracking that job, and then do you have like a separate list of changes that have happened, and you call those addendums, or how does that? Explain to me how that process works. Like if I was bidding a job, I take a look at the plans, I do my takeoff for the fence around there, and I'm sifting through the plans, and fencing's really tough. So it's like sometimes it's in different sections of the plans. What happens if there's a change? How does the fence company, maybe you make the bid in July this month, right? And and I'm assuming you're either bidding to the owners or general contractors, because either one can submit them, owner or general contractors.
Right.
So sometimes you're bidding directly to the owners, and sometimes with you guys, 100%. You're bidding to the generals. Yeah.
100%.
So what happens by bid, or a fence company bids something today in July, right?
Well,
and
these companies know that they're posting their projects with us. We have that relationship with them where they're aware that that's where they're hosted and that's where they're trying to see bids from. So we're on their contact list, where when they're making their changes, they're reaching out to us directly to update us, and we update our projects. And using our project tracking feature, if you're tracking that project, it's going to notify you right away with an email saying, hey, there was an addendum on this project, and here's what it is. And then through that email, you can click right there, and it's going to take you straight to it through the email.
Okay, and then you can kind of search through it right there and then track it.
And you can. So it's going to be posted in the project files as addendum 1 or addendum 2, and so on and so forth.
So are they submitting the bids through this portal or through your site directly to the GC? So is all this kind of done like that?
Right. You do not submit bids through us. We facilitate bids. We give you the information, all the information we can provide. We tell you who the GC is, where you need to submit the bid to, what time it has to be there, but you do not submit them through us. You go to them, you follow their instructions, whatever they need, whether it has to be hand delivered at a certain time or submitted through one of their portals. We do not have anything to do with the actual submitting of the bid process. We provide you the plans, all the project information, contacts, bidders lists. Bidders lists are great through the website as well, because on every project, you have a list of who all the bidders are, the generals, the subs, and you can keep track of what generals are bidding the project and when they want to receive their bids, what time, what day, how they want to receive them. If the general is also specific, you could track which sub bidders are listed on the project as well. So you can kind of see maybe what kind of competition you might have on this job.
Oh, that's nice. You could see you might be the only fence guy bidding it. I mean, through here anyway, right?
100%.
Or you might see that there's 6 other fence companies bidding it, and maybe, because we all know which companies are better at what. I mean, even Las Vegas Fence, we're
I'm
better
sure
at
you guys know
things.
who's. When you see somebody on there, they're like, oh, this guy might have it locked in, right?
Yeah. And if it's a certain type of fence that we know that those guys just a certain type of project that they're going to be able to beat us on.
They super specialize in, right?
Yeah, they've got the equipment to bend it or do whatever it is, right? So, so that's interesting. So then they can just kind of track all this inside there. So when they submit the plans to you, do they submit the plans to you and some other plan rooms at the same time?
Yes, that can be a thing at times. Sometimes we have the projects exclusively, but other times, like I said, it's all about exposure. So these companies are wanting to post them in multiple locations, trying to get as many bids as they can.
Okay.
It's all about having a good subscriber base to take a look at their project and try to give them as much bids as we can.
And I know we've got some training coming up to where we're actually really trying to help teach people how to bid commercial projects, and that it'll really kind of tie into your guys' platforms, things like that as well. So and once we teach them how to help them with the proposals and make sure the stuff's going out to the GCs correctly or whoever they're bidding it to, so they can make sure they don't forget something. There's errors and omission insurance. Everybody, if you're not aware of, you can always rely on that if you had to, if you got it, but you don't want to, right? So and
Surely.
and people will make you use it if you miss something, and
Oh
they
man,
won't have a lot. They won't have a lot of empathy for you.
no.
So what so when they're looking through these plans, and if I remember last time I was in your portal, you had some other tools though to help people. It's not just you just say here's the plans. You have some tools that you've incorporated into your system, right?
100%. We do have digital. It's like a light set of takeoff tools. It's not what you're going to get with an on-screen takeoff or something like that. Which is going to run you a couple $1,000s, right? As
Mm-hmm.
part of your subscription on a gold membership for $1,250 a year, you have all the access to the blueprints and specifications. You can go into the blueprint files, and we have a light set of takeoff tools. You can count, you can measure area, you can draw lines, and very light tools to kind of keep track of things and give you a very basic set of digital tools. But it is something that we do offer as part of your membership.
Okay,
It's
so
not a money add-on or anything like that.
yeah, and I think that really neat. I think we'd love to. I'd love to see you. Maybe we'll pull some of this stuff up at the Fence Show in October and have you demo some of that while we're doing that class on how to bid commercial.
Totally.
And that will tie.
Absolutely.
I know we talked about it. You're going to be coming down hopefully for that, and we'll tie that in. And so anybody that's listening, if you're at that how to bid commercial, Jordan will right there on site show you how to use some of these plan takeoff,
Yeah.
some of
We
these
should be
resources.
able to do some keyword searches for fencing projects, a spec book searches for fencing that'll take you right to all the information you need, and then pull up some blueprints and show us how to count fence, measure an area, measure your perimeter, things like that.
Yeah.
Stuff
There you
that would
guys
be
go.
very applicable to what you guys would need.
Yep. There you guys have it. Go to fenceshow.com, get registered, and sign up for that class. Click how to build, or not how to build. We know how to build fence, how to bid commercial project. Right. And we'll get you guys hooked up with Jordan while you're there. So yeah,
Sounds great.
when they're in there tracking these things, and they can click on as many of these projects as they want and kind of follow them, even if they're not bidding them right away, to try to
Right.
get an idea for it. And
Right.
then
You can go in and our list of projects is there, and you could use the keyword search and drive right into fencing and see what it narrows it down to, or you can kind of click through them all, and we have the bid dates posted right on the main screen. Every project has its bid date right there, so you can kind of see how urgent it is, and it is sorted by bid date. So the most recent ones are going to be at the top, and the latest ones are going to be down at the bottom.
And there's contact information. So if you want to go in and connect with general contractors or even other subs, maybe you're going to partner with another, and we do that sometimes, even at Las Vegas Fence, we partner with other fence companies on a project if we have to put more manpower on it, or
Absolutely.
to resources or something to do it.
Right.
So is that contact information in there? Like, say I wanted to look and see all the bidders that are bidding, will I be able to kind of reach out to some of those people, or is that frowned upon?
Well, that is part of the bidders list we were touching on earlier, where every project
Okay.
has the list where it's going to show the generals that we know are bidding the project, the subs
Okay.
that we know are bidding the project. And with that being said, too, if you are a sub that is bidding that project, you can go in there and edit your listing and kind of give yourself a little tagline
Yeah.
demoing what your company does. Like you
Okay.
talked about specialized fenced earlier.
Yeah.
You could be, Las Vegas Fence specializing in barricades or something as like your little company tagline. And with that being said as well, you talking about the tracking of what the companies are doing, we have a full company tracking feature built in where I can go in and search Las Vegas Fence and see every project you've bid or been on the bidders list on.
Okay.
If we had that information and published it.
Yeah, and anybody can do that
Anybody can do that. Yes.
Okay,
Anybody
so
can
that's
do
really
that.
neat.
Go in and use our searching features, search a company, and it's going to show you every project they were attached to.
That's neat. So tell me about the daily bulletins. That's I know we kind of tapped on that for a second. Tell me about the daily bulletins and these and how these get delivered to people.
Very popular. As a member, on any level of membership, you're going to receive a daily email from us at noon every day. And that email is going to give you a 3-day bid calendar telling you all the projects that are bidding with us in the next 3 days. It's also going to give you pre-bid and site visit notices telling you which of those projects are coming up soon that you have to be aware of. It also tells you the new projects we posted in the last 24 hours and the new addendas we posted in the last 24 hours. So all that information is right there, emailed directly to you at noon. Just right to your email box, you can see everything going on in the last 3 days, everything we posted in the last 24 hours. And if you're using our project searching features, like if we save you fence as a keyword, fencing is going to be part of that daily email where it shows you anything involving fencing that happened in the last 24 hours as well.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful email, very popular.
Yeah. So you don't do the paper. If I remember getting the book, and it was It was like, I remember it. So did that go out anymore?
The book, I mean, has been an evolution. It started when I was at the company. This is something I had a direct hand in, being the document scanner or working my way through
Yeah.
the different processes of the company. We had a whole print shop, Dickinson Printing and Publishing previously, that printed the notebook for us on old school Chief 115 ink
Yeah.
presses with rollers. They had coallators and paper cutters. It was like an 8-man operation. And
Had like a
over the
square
years,
binding or something, if I
yep,
remember.
using the stitch binding. Absolutely, there was a stitcher back there too, with a
Hmm.
big spool of wire on it. Somebody had to hit a pedal and run every single book through the stitcher. It was wild. And over the years, technology advances. So, as every company has to do, you advance with that technology. So the print
Yeah.
shop eventually evolved into just being printed on big printers, big office printers, like not your typical office
Yeah.
printer, but like a
Yeah.
huge office printer, right? And running two of those in tandem to put the book out. And again, as technology evolves, some people will argue we've been in the printing industry since 1953. Print is kind of going away, you
Yeah.
know? And with the digital book, we're allowed to offer more direct involvement. The printed book went away as of this year, January 1st, 2025. We've gone fully digital. You access it through our website. Every Friday, you get a link saying that the notebook is out. And you can click that link. It'll take you right to the digital edition of the notebook. But now with the digital edition, if you're seeing advertisements, let's say Las Vegas Fence takes out an ad with us, quarter-page ad, they can click that ad right there and go right to where you want them to go. You can do that in the hard copy. And when
Yeah.
you're scrolling through the digital edition and you're seeing a project you're interested in, you can click the heading of that project and it's going to take you right to the website to access the job right there. So there's a lot of integration you get with the digital copy that you didn't get with the hard copy. And we're
Yeah.
seeing a pretty good response to moving it digitally. So I'm really happy with that. It's the evolution, you got to keep evolving.
Yeah, and I know there's plan rooms all over the country. So I mean, and you guys,
100%.
you guys really focus heavily on Nevada, but there's
Yes.
plan rooms all over the country, and there's some national plan rooms, and then there's plan rooms dedicated to areas and states and stuff like yourself. What are the advantages? We'll say if you're in Nevada, right? What's the advantage to a local plan room that's really been focused for so long in a specific area over a national plan room?
Absolutely. I would say the advantage of being with the local Nevada Plan Room is, as I've touched on a few times, we've been doing this since 1953. We know how to navigate the Nevada system. We have the contacts already. We've built the relationship. We've built the reputation. To some of these national companies, you're just a number to them. They're just trying to get a sale. They're grabbing a couple projects,
Yeah,
things like that. We're getting our hands on everything involved in Nevada. They've got teams spread out all over the place. Our tech support's top notch. When you're reaching out, reaching out to a local family owned operation. We can remote log in. We can come to your business. We can give you a demo. We can give you a training. We can help you out with anything you need to try to help you facilitate these bids. And if you pick up the phone and call us, you're going to get Katie, who's been
yeah,
doing this for 18 years, and she can answer any question you have or at least point you in the right direction to get your questions answered. And we're going to help you get these bids done. We're
yeah,
your partner in this thing, for as
yeah.
low as a price of $750 a year. You've got all
Yeah.
this information being handed directly to you. You can't source this information for less than that,
No, I mean
if
you'd
you
have
were
to
doing it
hire
yourself.
10 people in your office to gather up all the
100%.
information and do what you guys are doing full time to try to track all this stuff
We've
for
got
you.
that team for you, and
And
that's
sick.
what it's all about. We're trying to help our local area, right? We're not just trying to make people a statistic.
Yeah, yeah. So can people still come in and look at plans? Do you actually still get the set of the plans and then keep them, or is it all digital?
It is all digital now. It is all digital. Yep. And we offer our light takeoff tools. And coming soon, I can't give a date, but we are launching a more full set of takeoff tools that may be a value added service, right? It's something that's in development right now.
Okay. So yes, I mean that's interesting. So tell me, I know you kind of mentioned earlier about how you've seen people sit in your office and then kind of grow using these kind of resources and grow into having their own office. Do you have any success stories from like a local contractor, something that sticks in your mind that of something that from somebody that that
I do. I do. Central Valley Systems Consultants is one that comes to mind immediately, is a local air balancing contractor. and they started coming into our office, honestly working for other companies,
Yeah.
and ended up starting their own business, using the notebook as their basis of operation, coming in every morning, using our services, using the Wi-Fi, drinking some coffee, right? And just using it as their base ground, trying to get their bids done and submitted, and just watching them grow from there, and hiring more employees and getting their own office. It's a really exciting process to watch.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I mean, like I said, I was excited to let everybody know that this is probably the next step after we, if you're thinking about getting into doing any kind of commercial bids or bidding to generals or bidding stuff that's more than just driving out and measuring around a yard and giving somebody a quote yourself
Yeah.
on your handwritten quote forms. This is pretty cool. So I know you're going to be coming to the fence show, which we really appreciate having
I'm
your
excited
support for that
for it.
kind of
I
stuff.
appreciate the invite.
Yeah, have you worked with any other events like the fence show before and done something like that?
We've done a few trade shows. I know every year we do Meet the Generals with ABC, and we do a couple events associated with NCA as well when we can. So we've got to kind of get that going again. But that's another resource for your smaller businesses as well. Is you got to get in with these industry events, and you got to
Yeah.
network, and you've got to shake hands and put yourself out there. And touching on it again, it's all about exposure. We've touched on that a few times.
Yeah, yeah. Any tips for like new users? I mean, just a last minute tips here for new users, or something they should look out for, or something they should be cautious of when they're thinking about getting into this or doing this, or something they should do to prepare, for this, or think that they got to really watch for.
Are you talking about coming into using the notebook, or
Yeah, or
coming?
just yeah, doing this type of projects, and doing these bids and bidding these projects. Is there any like red flags you should look for, or things that you can think of?
I would say what I run into a lot with new businesses is kind of what we touched on with the submitting the bids earlier. Is come in knowing that there's a lot of legwork in construction. You know,
Yep.
like a lot of people are, and there's a lot of competition. So you got to kind of come in with an open mind, ready to learn a lot, and sponge it up and take advantage of how to use this stuff to the best of your ability. And know that a little bit of legwork's going to go into it.
Yeah.
You've got to
Yeah.
go in and read the bid documents and really understand, the project you're getting into. And you don't want to go in working on a bid for something that you're not qualified for as well. So I touched on it earlier, as well as make sure you're playing within your bid limit. Don't go in and see this project. It's like, oh, that looks amazing, but you're not tracking the information we gave you, where it's like the bid limit is this, or.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I love that you kind of brought that up. So know what you're getting into, and
Right.
I think the mistakes that a lot of newer people getting into bidding these projects are. I mean, my nickname is Redline. If you ask a lot any GC I bid something to, because I redline everything. But on the contract part, it's nonetheless. I think when they're bidding the stuff, you don't take the time to actually fully read it all and go through and search for stuff, and then you might miss dumpster gates, or you might
Hmm.
miss. Sometimes the fencing's in the landscape section. Sometimes it's on the civil. Sometimes it's the
Right.
fencing. There's no set area for fencing, so you have to spend the time. Don't just throw a number at it, and don't get pressured by the generals or whoever this bid date. If
For
if you
sure.
can't, if you don't have the time to fully review these plans and the specs and all the addendums, everything that's been added to this thing, if you don't have time to fully review all that, comfortably review it, right, and understand it,
Hmm.
don't bid it. I don't care if it bids today at noon. Don't throw a number at it, because you're going to get in trouble eventually doing it.
You
So
can't
I think
skim
that's
these things,
yeah.
right?
And I
Right.
think
So
that happens a lot. That happens a lot. We just look at it real quick, and we'll even ask the contractor sometimes, "Hey, I don't have time to look at it. Just tell me how much footage there is, and this, and
yeah.
you're just trusting what people are saying to you." And again, it's going to come back to they want you to bid it per plans and specs. So you're putting a quote out there saying that you're bidding it per these plans and per these specs, and they've got proof that you've looked at it and you've reviewed it, right?
Right.
So you're going to have a hard time justifying why you don't understand what you were bidding, and you can end up losing your license and things over
At the end
stuff
of the
like
day,
that
I was
too.
just going to say that you're going to be the one that's on the hook, right?
Yep.
So, and,
Yeah.
and
And it
then you
was,
don't want to get published, in something like the notebook saying you have a contractor's license strike,
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
absolutely.
And then you lose a customer. They're out of business.
Right.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins when you don't take the time to look at these projects. And you even if you manage to pull it off and lost a bunch of money. So hey, I appreciate you coming on. Everybody that's listening, like I said, final thoughts on this thing is if you're thinking about getting into commercial fencing, get over to the fence show this October. Come in there. It's a 2-day class. It goes on right before the expo. Jordan will be there. He can actually go over some of this and help you understand the plans a little bit better. And we'll have some other resources for you there. Go to fenceshow.com. Go to constructionnotebook.com if you want to get more information on that. Can they just get a free trial right there when
big red button right on the front page? Big red button. Start your free trial right now. You'll be dealing with me. I'll get you taken care of. We'll get you set up. We'll get you searching fencing, and we'll get you ready to go.
Awesome. If you got any questions for Jordan, drop it in the comments, or send us a message, and we'll try to relay that off to you. Jordan, thank you. I'm sure I'll see you before October, but thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.